Hey class, this is week 7, the final week of your Foundations of Christian Theology course. So thank you for sticking with it this far. We finally got to where we're in the home stretch. This week is a little bit different, obviously, because it is the final week. You have some things that remain the same, some things that are different. The things that remain the same, we'll talk about those first. You still have your weekly readings that you have to do. You still have your discussion board participation that you still have to do. The thread by Wednesday at 11:59, response by Friday at 11:59. You still have your honor system weekly report quiz that is, reporting how much you read. And you still have your content quiz for week 7. So those things remain the same. You do not have your reflection. You do not have your theology essay. That is because you have your final exam. Some of you have asked about the final exam. Here's what it is. All right, your final exam consists of 3 parts. Parts 1 and 2 are online tests in the same format and spirit, I suppose, as those weekly content quizzes that you've been taking. The ones that you get, 15 minutes for. There are 2 of those, parts 1 and 2 of your exam. Part 1 and part 2, these online tests, 35 questions each, 60 minutes each. Part 1 of your exam has 35 questions and you have 60 minutes. Part 2 is the same. It's not the same test, but same format. It's a sit down, start to finish sort of thing, so make sure you're nice and prepared before you sit down to complete that. Part 3 of your final exam is a pair of essays. So part 1, online test. Part 2, online test. Part 3, a pair of essays. According to one of them is going to be more according to the Mueller material, and the other is more according to the Strobel material. The one that is more from the Mueller material is more of a theology essay in voice, in style. So it is supposed to be academic, objective, third person. That should be included in the prompt. The one that is more centered around the Strobel material is more of a reflection tone, and it can be more personalized using first and second person. Again, that'll appear in the prompt, so don't panic if you don't remember. So what have we established in this video so far? Some things remain the same. You will have to do some readings. You will have a content quiz. You will have an honor system quiz saying how much you read. You'll have your discussion board content. Those things remain the same. The different things: you don't have your theology essay, you don't have your reflection. You do have your final exam. Part 1, online test. Part 2, online test. Both of those 35 questions, both of those with 60 minutes to complete. You cannot pause and do something else and come back. Sit down, start to finish. Part 3, that pair of essays. Also remember, these essays must be written with the Google Docs protocol that we've been doing all term. It's extremely important. Do both essays on the same Google Docs file. You will be submitting one file, not 2. So keep those things in mind and turn off the all-knowing Grammarly, as always. I want to see your writing, not your writing, plugged into Grammarly, changed into what Grammarly would suggest, and then made pretty just to impress me. I want to hear you. I want to see your writing. All right. What else? So hopefully that is clear. If you have any questions about that, you can be sure to let me know. The other thing about these 3 parts to the final exam, they're technically due not this Friday, but next Friday. Next Friday, the 12th, is technically the end of the term. So you do, in theory, it's not in theory, you do have until 11:59 on December 12th to finish those 3 elements of the final exam. However, if you want that hanging over your head, you can. You certainly can. But if you'd rather get that done more ahead of time, more power to you. The other parts of this, or the other parts of this week, the discussion board being due, the thread by Wednesday at 11:59, the response by Friday at 11:59, those are due as normal. Your content quiz will open up a little bit earlier than normal, just because this is a different kind of week. Yeah. As for the content for this week, let's see. For Mueller this week, we have the last things. How fitting for the final week of the term. We have the last things. There's all sorts of different denominational differences when it comes to the last day and what it's going to look like. Some church bodies adhere to a strict literal 1,000-year reign of Jesus because they read Revelation and they think that's what it means, even though church history really contradicts this up until about the mid-1800s, which is really interesting, I think. There are some people who are even Christians who are very afraid of the rapture. It's coming, and I don't know, because I don't know if I'm going to be left behind. And that whole Left Behind series was its own thing. But that sort of influence has really only emerged as a prominent influence in Christianity and reading Revelation in the past, 200 years maybe. There's a whole 1,800 years of church history before that. So I happen to find it super interesting. Keep that in mind as you read Mueller for this week. And also, of course, think about what it means in terms of your nursing profession. I mean, how you're going to be handling patients who are afraid of the end, or if they talk to you about apocalyptic fears or anything like that. But knowing that the end is in God's hands, I guess, could be another way of viewing this. How do you view yourself in light of that? Fact. For Strobel, we have the evidences and appearances and circumstantial evidence. So I hope that this Strobel reading and all of his videos have been very edifying for you, even if you do come from a Christian background, to see that this isn't simply we are to have faith, but it's not as if there is no evidence for this. It's not as if God appeared to somebody in secret and said, take my word for it, and then that one person had to convince everybody else. There are religions that exist in that way. Christianity is not one of them. So if you have enjoyed Strobel, good. If you did not, he has many other works as well that you can peruse in all of your free time. C.S. Lewis's Mere Christianity is another one I would recommend if you're looking for other further explorations into the claims of Christianity, even though Lewis is far less. He's not looking there at the archaeological evidence or anything. He's reasoning his way through why God may exist, what God may look like, and why the Christian God and the God of the Christian scriptures actually, in his mind, is what lines up with just the reality he sees around him. So that's, again, in all the spare time you probably have, right? If you have any questions about any of this, please be sure to let me know. Otherwise, have a good last week and a half of the term. And it has been fun to work with you all. So best of luck.